Hello, and thank you for watching this demo video for the social media analytics report. Now, normally I would do a different demo for each different spreadsheet, but in this case, there are 6 spreadsheets in the range. I've got them all open at the moment, and they're all very, very similar in layout and how they work. So I thought I'll make one demo video for all of them, and I'll show you how they work. So what do they do? Essentially, I've got one for Facebook, Google Analytics, LinkedIn, MailChimp, Twitter, and YouTube. And all of them will take analytics data that's exported from those various platforms that you can then import into the spreadsheet. You do that manually with a copy and paste. I'll show you how to do that. And once you've got the information in here, you can then filter the data to make sure that it's correct, and then create a report. Now, what I mean by filter data is initially I've made spreadsheets like this in the past. In fact, this particular range that you're watching the demo video for now is version 3 of all the different spreadsheets, version 1 and 2. The reason why I've gone this route is because version 1 and 2, I made them to accept the data straight from the different exports. And as you can imagine, various platforms like LinkedIn and YouTube kept changing their export layout. LinkedIn almost every month adds a new column, and then obviously everything's thrown out, and you try and paste it in and it doesn't work. And if it does work, the headers don't line up and the data is all distorted, and it's been a bit of a pain. So what I've done is I've made the new layout spreadsheets from version 3 onwards, and version 3 essentially will accept the data, and then it will, instead of just taking the columns that it's been told to, it'll actually look up the respective headers, so you can assign which header goes. And I'll show you all of this, and they're all the same. There are 1 or 2 discrepancies, so let's just get started. First of all, on the intro and setup tab, and as I said, I mean, you can have a look through here, Google Analytics, all the pages are very, very similar. In the first section, you can see where you find the raw data. I'm not going to show you now how to find the raw data for each of the different platforms, because you can follow the instructions, and it's easier just to change those instructions if they go and mix it around and put the data in a different place. I don't want to have to make a new video each time. And you can also see here how to import the data into this spreadsheet. I will show you how to do that because they're all very similar. And then how you can filter the data, I will show you how to do that as well. First and foremost, to put your business name in here. This is the version number of the particular spreadsheet. So obviously, I'm starting at 3.001 for all of the different spreadsheets. But you can see on the website what current versions is uploaded. So if you've got an earlier version and you see this later one on the website, feel free to download it. First and foremost, put in the start month and the start year. Now, the start month, you can select which month you want, and the start year, that should be year, it will be in the change version. You can see here why just enter in the year as a number to 2018. I've got here, this is for last year. The reason why you do that is because this spreadsheet will last you for 1 year. This is a link to the demo video, and you can see here's a useful link to how to keep your spreadsheets working. There are a few things not to do with these spreadsheets, and if you click there, you can see the website link. Here's some of the other products that we offer. You can take a look when you've got some time. So essentially, we want to start that off. You can see the period of the year from 1st May 2018 to 30th of April 2019, because the spreadsheet will have a year's worth of data to produce a report. And all you do is just start a blank spreadsheet for the following year. So that's the intro and setup. They're always the same for all the different platforms. Let's take a look at the raw data paste. Now, they are the same for most of the platforms. They'll look like, in fact, all of them will look like this. I just want to show you how to do this data. So let's just go and have a look at the Facebook data that we want to import. Here's the Facebook data. And the Facebook data, when you open up one of these CSVs, the Facebook data will give you a warning, just say yes, open it anyway. That's the data. Now, the first thing you do on all of them is just click this enable editing, because at the moment it's not letting it. You can see the data, but you can't really copy it properly because it's not really giving you the correct information. So just click enable editing, which will then open it up and unlock everything so that you've got access to everything. You want to be on the key metrics, but now What you need in all the circumstances, not just Facebook, is you want to make sure you've got the correct data, and you can see on each spreadsheet which tab, which download you need, so you've got the correct data. Then what you need is you need the headers to be left, and this is the same for all the different platforms. And then you need the data. So you don't want to, on most of the downloaded data, it's just got the headers and then the data. But Facebook, very annoyingly, have put this explainer column in here. So the first thing you do for Facebook is just delete that, because you don't want those explainer column. All we want are the headers that they've used and the data. Now, as you can see, this data, the other anomaly with Facebook is this data here doesn't actually have a header. So we need to put a header in. So the header that I've got on as a default for Facebook, if we're going to have a look there, is followers. That's what the header that I've used. So if we just delete that column off of Facebook and then just type in followers there, then that data is ready. The others, as I said, Google Analytics is slightly different. I'll show you how to do that, but all the others will already be set up basically like you've got Facebook now. So all you do now is you copy all the data, and if you hold Shift Control and right, it will go to the end, and then Shift Control and down, it will go down to the bottom of your data, and if you right click, copy, make sure that if you do scroll down that you haven't included any totals if they've got totals, and that is now the data that you would then come and you would go into your Facebook Analytics, and you would start in the gray cell because you want your headers to be in the gray cells, and you right click and you say paste values. Not normal paste. Normal paste will ruin your spreadsheet because you'll paste all the formatting. You want to do paste values, so you just paste in the values. Now when you do that, you'll see the numbers. This isn't quite right. The reason being is there's a glitch in Excel at the moment, which I'm hoping that they're going to fix, but those should change color. But if you scroll down and then back up again, you'll see that it's changed color. That's just a Facebook glitch at the moment with the conditional formatting. So there you've got your data. You see the headers have turned blue where they've got data. These cells here will turn yellow where you've got data, so you can see where there's data. But essentially that will now be converted to data that we can use for this particular spreadsheet, and it's the same throughout with all the other platforms. As you can see, these all say true. Now beforehand, some of them said false. Now those are just warnings. The most important thing about this page is these are the headers of the data that we're looking for. So we're looking for total follows, organic impressions, organic reach of page posts, page consumption, so on and so forth. Those are the headings of the data that we require. It's looking, because you've only put 1 month in, it recognizes the month that we've got as March 2019. It says, yes, you've got March 29th. That's the assumed month. It's got the data, the right month, all laid out properly. If you enter, say, a year's worth of data and you want to extract 1 month at a time, just put in any day of that month. So if you say, well, actually, I would like January 2019, and you've got the data in, you can just put January 20, the 1st of January 20, let's call it 19, and then it will pull up January stuff. Now, as you can see, there's no data here for that, but if the data was there, it would pull up the correct data. So you can override the assume month. If you've just put in 1 month, it should recognize that month, in which case leave that blank, don't worry about it. What you need to do is make sure that these headers match with what you've got down here. So if you click on here, you can see you've got all the different options from the previous page. These are all the headers that you got in your data. Which header matches up? So which of those headers match up with total follows? And the answer is follows. And which of these ones match up with daily organic impressions? Daily organic impressions. So you can select them accordingly so that you've got the right data below. Now these warnings, I wouldn't worry too much about the format warnings. All they're doing is just checking to see this format's okay. So if something's a percentage and you've got a whole number or something, it might just flag up and go, that doesn't look right. But that you need to use your discretion. The important one are the headers. What this is doing is checking, does this header actually exist? If the answer is no, it'll flag up in red. Now the reason for that is because when LinkedIn were adding in columns and it was causing issues with the data every time, you're causing issue with the data every time, and it was mixing things around. So now there's enough space. If they do add in some columns, you can still paste the data, and this will actually look for that header. Now, if they've used the same header and just moved it up 3 columns, you won't have to do anything here. It'll just recognize it and you can carry on. If they've changed the header names and those headers don't exist, so for argument's sake, if you selected followers, and let's just go to followers, this is where you would have followers. If Facebook changed this, say, to all foreign followers, now you added this in, so this is a different situation, but let's just say Facebook changed the header, and now you came here to your data filter, you can see that one would go red because it's saying I don't find the column followers, and they're all 0 because it doesn't find that. All you would do then is go here, see what columns do exist, and select the correct one, and then the numbers will work out. So if you see any red here, just take the appropriate action below, but really what you're trying to do is you want these cells here where you can select which column to look for to marry up with these here, which is the data we're looking for. That's essentially what you're trying to do on this page. And once you've done that and you've got the right month, you can highlight this data here. You can right click and you can say copy, and then you can paste values again below. Now, as you can see, I've already pasted them here for May, June. I've pasted 11 months worth over here. So if you've done this already and you kind of go March and you want to place the next one, you can right click here and you can paste values below. So you can paste after the previous month, keep on pasting, and up until you've got the full year's worth of data. Now, if you select the data for a month which isn't in your chart, you'll see over here this will flag up saying that the dates you've selected are outside of your year. So for argument's sake, if you go from January to December 2019 and you put data in for January 2020, it's going to say that's outside of your range. You shouldn't be adding the data. So really, you want to do this, I would imagine, a month at a time, or you can do more together if you want. But really, you want to accumulate data until you've got the full year's worth of data here, and the months you've got down here coincide with the months that you selected the spreadsheet on the first page. Now, all of the different platforms are the same with regards to this. However, some of them may have, some of them might have things missing here. Let's have a look. I think it was the YouTube? Yes, there's nothing here because these 2 columns are calculated from data that you've got here, so you've got fewer to check. But as you can see, these all say false. The reason why they say false is because we haven't pasted the data in yet. Once the data's in, those should all turn green. Now, obviously, I would set this up for the current layout, but if Facebook or someone, or LinkedIn or someone, really, if one of the platforms changed their headers, you can just come and reselect the correct header, and then you don't have to come and download an entire new spreadsheet. You can just adapt this one to suit their data. The only other anomaly as far as entering data is concerned is Google Analytics. The Google Analytics, you'll see on the form, you'll download 3 different sets of data. So all you need to do on there, if we go to the Google Analytics raw data, is go to the first Google one, open up the data, do enable editing as per normal, and then do the data set. And then when you do, this isn't the first one that I had. It doesn't matter, you can do them in any order. But again, get the header along with the dates for this one. Scroll down, exclude the totals, edit, copy. There we go. Paste values. Then go to the next Google, because the Google, there are 3 of them. You can highlight that. And then when Google opens, click again, enable editing, and then go to the data set. Now the day, you've already got the day. So provided you've downloaded the same content for each one, just do the headers. Now it's going to scroll down all the way to include the totals. So just go one up so you don't include the totals, copy, and then you can come back here again and then paste the next one in next to that. There, it all changes color. And then the following one, paste alongside that. So instead of pasting in one batch, you're pasting it in 3 batches, but then all the data should line up. Just double check as well that if you go down to the bottom that they all end They all end at the same place. I've done a year's worth of data in there, actually. That's why there's so much. But then for your Google, you're going to have to paste it in 3 batches, but just make sure that you've got the same stuff copied and pasted across next to each other. It doesn't matter what order you do them in, because it's going to look for the header anyway. And then that, as you can see, those two are still to come. I haven't done those. I've done those 4. So as you go along, it recognizes the data. So they're all really the same. It's all a case of getting the data into the spreadsheet, then selecting the headers to match up with the headers that we're wanting. And as long as everything's green on that page, you should be all right to carry on. And then the last thing is just to check the report. And you've got a report of each of the different ones. So here you've got a Facebook report. You've got a report on all of them. And as you add data in, it'll add onto that report. And these reports, you can have a look through all the different graphs and things that they show you for each of the different platforms, because they're all different. Lastly is the data export. Now, the data export, if you sign up for our email newsletter, you get a free spreadsheet which actually takes the data from each of these different social media spreadsheets onto one spreadsheet, so you can actually compare them and you can assign points to different actions and all sorts of things. But there's a different demo video for that spreadsheet. But essentially, this data export, you can see the figures here for each month, as far as, you know, each month and all the different figures in black and white. But if you do have the other spreadsheet, you can copy this and paste it across the other spreadsheet in order to get a more detailed review. So that is the social media range. As I said, you might be looking for any one of those social media sites, the social media pages, but really this demo video is for all of them. They're all very much the same. As I said, get the data, put it in, make sure you've got the headers and then the data, and you paste the headers into the gray section, and then just assign each header to the required data, and you're good to go. I understand this is possibly a little bit more confusing than just pasting the data in, but at least now you've got control over this, so you won't have issues where you've got to keep on downloading the new spreadsheet because the old one didn't work because LinkedIn have changed the order of their data. So hopefully that is explanatory, and I hope that this shed some light on your social media activity. It really has shown me some things or two as far as where I've gone wrong and where I've gone right with my social media. So I hope that it helps you, and I wish you all the best for your business. Thank you and goodbye.